Okay everyone, let's talk about CIPP Europe, how to prepare. My name is Tony Vellini. So first question, why get this cert? Well, data privacy is a growing area of law. GDPR compliance is very important for many U.S. companies and is certainly influencing the law in the United States. For privacy attorneys, CIPP certs are becoming the norm to show employers and clients that you have a basic foundation. ABA has approved a new privacy law specialty, if you're interested in reading about that. I think that the CIPP US combined with Europe would look really good on a resume for a new attorney, or really anyone looking to show a basic foundation in privacy, including IT professionals. Passing score. I don't know what a passing score is, the minimum passing score. I did see a website that mentioned 60% or higher is passing, and I don't know if this is true. When I looked at IAPP's official website, it looked like their board could change the minimum passing score at any time. So do the best you can. When I took CIPP Europe, I noticed there were several curveball questions where I had actually absolutely no idea what the answer was despite studying for a few months, so this was strange to me. I read that the IAPP may inject 15 or so trial questions. If I'm recalling correctly, the test was about 90 questions. How to prepare? Well, if you're a DePaul law student, you could take my online data privacy law course for background. I may create a CLE version in the near future. Step 2, review IAPP's body of knowledge for the test. 3, review IAPP's exam blueprint. 4, get at least one book. 5, review the Field Fisher YouTube video that I'll talk about, and also IAPP's top 10 operational impacts of GDPR literature. Step 6, prepare a GDPR outline. Step 7, buy IAPP's sample questions for CIPP Europe. Step 8, do Quizlets. Now I have a note here at the bottom. I will talk about my suggested order of steps on the last slide of this video. So how to prepare, again, take my course if you're at DePaul, because I cover many of these topics. Step 2, review IAPP's body of knowledge. And so at the bottom here I have a partial screenshot of the body of knowledge. And the body of knowledge is a roughly 3-page document that just lists out all the topics that are tested. Obvious point, as you prepare, make notes and flashcards regarding the body of knowledge and exam blueprint items. Captain Obvious here. Step 3, review IAPP's exam blueprint. So Roman numeral 1, Intro to European Data Protection. You can expect 4 to 10 questions testing you on the basics of EU structure and history. And Roman numeral 2, 40 to 66 questions that really come right out of GDPR concepts. So this is a very GDPR heavy test. Step 4, get at least one book. So I have a partial screenshot showing the official book. You might want to sign up for an IAPP membership to get discounted pricing. Now with the official book, I found the initial chapters were helpful in terms of describing EU structure and history. Now the remaining chapters were basically collections of essays from different authors, and those other chapters, the bulk of the book, hard to understand if you haven't first reviewed the GDPR, so you might want to think about that. Third bullet, I was hoping that the book would provide a textbook approach, sort of an organized walkthrough of the GDPR requirements with questions at the end of each chapter. This was not the case, unfortunately. So I really had to review and outline the full text of the GDPR to get a good sense of it, and I could not rely on the book to do this work for me. So again, last bullet, it might be helpful to review the GDPR before reading many of the chapters in the official book. You could look for other books. I went on Amazon and I saw this book. The table of contents looked good. I didn't see any reviews on it, so you could search around, see if you could find a prep book with good reviews, as I'm sure there are probably people right now working on new books to new study guides for this test, so keep an eye out. Step 5, review Field Fisher YouTube video and review IAPP's top 10 operational impacts of GDPR literature. And so the Field Fisher YouTube video was helpful, and it's a roughly 1 hour video by Phil Lee and Mark Weber of Field Fisher. Nice overview. IAPP's brief summary of top 10 operational impacts is right on IAPP's website, so you could look at that. Also good overview material. Step 6, prepare a GDPR outline. And so I found this Eckerson website that provides a brief summary of the entire GDPR. So GDPR, it's Articles 1 through 99. That's the entirety of the GDPR. And it looks like you could read through this in about 25 minutes. Now, last bullet, you could look at IAPP's website, which lists some other sources that you could look at. I did not rely heavily on these other sources. There were so many listed, and so I had to cut down the number of things I was looking at. But you could certainly look, see if something looks helpful to you. Step 7, buy IAPP's sample questions for CIPP Europe. And so I've got a partial screenshot from their website. And the sample questions, you can purchase 30 sample questions with explanations. And I think it would be helpful to purchase these questions because, again, this is a roughly 90 question test, and you'll probably see some test questions similar or identical to the sample questions, so it seems like a good idea to potentially boost your score. Again, I believe the CIPP Europe is about 90 questions, so the sample questions seem worthwhile to purchase. Step 8, you could look at Quizlets. And so if you Google search Quizlet CIPP Europe, you get some free flashcards and free sample test questions that you could look at that basically folks out there in the world just post these different samples that, which might help you. And you can check your answers for explanations. And when you finish a Quizlet, review your answers, and then at the bottom of this website, you can click Create New Test at the bottom to generate new test questions and keep going. And with the Quizlets, I found the Quizlets helpful when I was on the train or waiting for the dentist or whatever. I could do the Quizlets on my smartphone, set a goal of maybe do a Quizlet every day. I did find that some questions were better than others, but hey, this was a free source that I found somewhat helpful. So recap, here's all my steps that we just talked about, but let's talk about my suggested order of steps if you're just getting started. So my suggested order is number 1, watch the Field Fisher video, GDPR overview. This is a little over an hour. Step 2, I would review the top 10 operational impacts content from the IAPP website. Step 3, I would review the initial chapter or chapters from IAPP official book talking about the EU structure and history and make some flashcards. Step 4, I would outline the entire GDPR, Articles 1 through 99. Now, what I might do, if I were studying right now, is I would go to this Eckerson site, and I would copy and paste all of this content into a Word doc, and next I would review the full text of the GDPR and insert any additional notes into this pasted content. Step 5, I would purchase and review IAPP's sample questions. Step 6, I would start working on Quizlets, the remainder of the IAPP official book, the exam blueprints, and so forth, possibly other literature. And I have a note here at the bottom that you could do step 3 at any time, reading about EU structure and history and making some flashcards. So anyway, I hope that you found this video helpful, and good luck on the test.